What's up, Woke Kindergarten fam? I am hype to be back for a new Woke Read Alouds episode. I know. It's been a minute, but I needed rest. You gotta get rest too, right? Because when we don't have rest, we actually can't do the things that we really love to do because we don't have the energy. But now I have energy and I'm back with a new episode and a new book, right? Well, the book's not new, but it's a book that I absolutely love. And it's called How Mamas Love Their Babies. And guess what? You don't even know. Guess who wrote it? A mama named Juniper Fitzgerald. She's a mama who had to do what she had to do to care for her child. And she partnered with another mama named Elise Peterson who illustrated the book. Oh, yeah, you're right. I almost forgot. I'm a little dusty, but what does the author do? Right, exactly. The author is the person who writes the words. Okay, or what about the illustrator? What do they do? Exactly. The illustrator creates the illustrations or the pictures. In this case, we have Juniper Fitzgerald is the mama who's the author who wrote the words, and Elise Peterson is the illustrator who made all this beautiful collage art for the pictures. So I'm really excited because it's a book about how mamas love their babies, written by two mamas that love their babies. My goodness. Wait a second, hold up. Am I reading to babies right now? Are you a baby? Oh, okay. So maybe some of you, but wait, but how old are you? So you're not quite a baby, but sometimes when you got a mama, you gonna be their baby for your whole life. It don't even matter if you get as old as me. I'm still my mama's baby. So don't worry. When we read this book, we're not just talking about like little babies that, crawl and go goo goo gaga. We talk about you too. Because that's just a term sometimes that our mamas use to show us that they love us, right? So let's get ready to read this book. How Mamas Love Their Babies. What are these words called? Right, that's the title, right? The title tells us what the book is going to be about. Now, these little words down here, sometimes they're different sizes, but these little words down here are names. One name is the author, the person who writes the words, and the other name is the illustrator, the person who makes the pictures. Now, what's this part of the book called? The front cover. Man, you too good at this. What about this? What if I turn around? What is this part of the book called? The back cover. Psh, you got this. Okay, I'm going to try to trick you. What if I turn it to the side? What is this part of the book called? The spine. It's called the spine because it holds all of the pages together. Okay, so front cover, back cover, spine, title, author, illustrator. I love this book because it made me think about my mama and also all of the mama figures that I have in my life. So it's not just my mama that I have in my life. She supported me and loved me and cared for me a lot in different ways. And she did the best that she could with all of the tools that she had at the time. But I also had people like, whoa, my grandmama. My grandmama's a mama too because she was the mom of my father. And, well, I grew up with my grandma, and I grew up with her caring for me, too. So, it's not just our mamas that care for us. It's all of the mama figures in our lives. Some people have mamas that are directly related to them and that gave birth to them, and some people don't. Whatever your experience is with any type of mother figure or mama in your life, it is valid. That means it's true to you and for you. And so hopefully reading this book will help show some of the ways that some mamas in the world love their babies. And don't forget, remember, it's not just the mamas that we're related to by blood, but other kind of mothering mama-like figures in our lives. So you can think about those people too. Think about how they love babies and how you love them. Hey y'all, I wanted to stop for a moment to acknowledge the fact that not everybody has a mama. And there are some people that had mamas that are no longer here with us today. And so however this day feels for you is true and valid. Now, we want to make sure that the mamas who are no longer with us are still celebrated. So this read aloud is also dedicated to the folks who may not have grown up with mamas, but maybe had other mama figures in their lives, or people who had mamas who are no longer here with us. May all of their memories be a blessing. Now back to the book. Before we read this book, there are 2 things that I want to teach you about so that as you're reading, you can think about those things and you can practice them. The first thing that I want to teach you about is to read the pictures. Can you say read the pictures? Good. Read the pictures. It's a really important skill. When we use our senses, we're better able to understand the things that we want to learn about. So don't just think that it's about hearing words or reading words. It's also about reading the pictures and thinking, what are the pictures communicating to us? So ask yourself that question. What are the pictures communicating to me? Communication is a way to tell people things or to send some kind of message. So ask yourself, what is this picture communicating to me? So read the pictures. That's the first thing. The second thing I want y'all to think about is to notice, wonder, and remain curious. So we talked about our skill, which is to read the pictures. Now we need to figure out, what do we have to do to be able to know how to read the pictures? That's where this comes in. Now I'm going to teach you a strategy. Can you say strategy? Good. A strategy is a way to practice getting better at a skill. So we need some strategies to help us know how to read the pictures. Those strategies that I'm going to teach you today are to notice, to wonder, and to stay curious. Can you say that? Notice, wonder, stay curious. Exactly. So first we have to learn the skill, read the pictures. Then we have to learn the strategy. How do we read the pictures? By using these strategies, right? We use these strategies to practice getting better at the skill, which is reading the pictures. So now I'm going to teach you how to use those strategies, okay? So let's practice. You see the picture here of the mom and her baby? Let's practice. Okay, first we start off with I notice. I notice that the mom and the baby are walking somewhere. Good. When you notice, you make an observation. The second thing we do is we wonder. I wonder where mom and baby are going, right? I wonder. And then we have to stay curious, which means we keep our minds open to all of the possibilities as to what might happen. So the possibilities that we're thinking of now is, I'm curious as to where mama and baby are going. I'm curious where they're coming from. I'm curious about what they might do when they get there, right? When we stay curious, we ask ourselves questions. We keep our minds open to all of the possibility of what can happen. And then we can take it a step further and use our imaginations to think about what might actually happen. That helps us to understand what's going on in the pictures. So when you're able to use these strategies, and remember, a strategy is a way to practice getting better at a skill. So whenever you use these reading strategies that we just learned, it helps you get better at our skill, which is reading the pictures. All right, so y'all ready? Whenever I'm asking y'all questions about this book, I want you to use your skill, practice your skill, which is to read the pictures. And remember, if you forget how to read the pictures, use our reading strategies that we just learned. I notice, I wonder, I'm curious about. You ready? Low power, you think they ready? All right, let's do it. How mamas love their babies. Babies love mamas, and mamas love babies. All right, so now I'm going to ask you a question, and you're going to use the words and read the pictures to answer that question. Now remember, reading the pictures is the skill. That's the skill we're practicing. And in order to get better at that skill, we have to use a strategy. So the strategies are, I notice, I wonder, I'm curious about. So when I ask you this question, you take the time to use those strategies to be able to get better at your skill of reading the pictures. All right, so here's my question. How do we know that these mamas love their babies? Take a moment to think about it. All right, see, I knew you would know how to do this. Now I'm gonna ask you my second question. How do we know that these babies love their mamas? Take a moment to think about it. What did you notice? I noticed that too, that these babies, they seem pretty relaxed. And feeling relaxed makes me think about feeling safe, because when I feel relaxed, I feel safe in the space that I'm in. So you talked to me about what you noticed. Now, can you tell little Power what you were wondering about? Yeah, I also wondered, I wonder what that baby is thinking about, right? You're so good at this. So you know that these mamas love their babies because of what you noticed and wondered about. And you know that these babies love their mamas because of what you noticed and wondered about. Now we're going to stay curious for the rest of the book, all right? So now that you know what to do, we're going to keep reading. I'm going to ask questions, and you're just going to use those strategies to practice that skill of reading the picture on your own. You got this? You got this? Little Power got you? All right. How do mamas love their babies? So how? When I ask how, I'm asking you to think about what are some ways that mamas love their babies. So why don't you take a moment to think about it? And if you want, you can even make a list. So think about making a list of things that mamas do that show that they love their babies. So I noticed that this mama loves her baby by holding the baby in a blanket, right? And oh, I noticed that this mama loves their baby because they're letting the baby hang on to their leg while they're learning how to walk. What about this mama? How does this mama love her baby? You're right. She shows that she loves her babies by watching her kids as they get on the bus to make sure what? Right, to probably make sure that they're safe and that nothing happens to them. Wow, so those are some of the ways that mamas love their babies. Mamas use their bodies to care for their babies in so many ways. How are these mamas using their bodies to care for their babies? Take a moment to think about it. This mama is doing what? Yes, this mama is doing their baby's hair, and this mama is feeding their baby. So mamas use their bodies in different ways. Like this mama is using her body, she's using her arms to do hair, and this mama is using her body to feed her child. I love mamas. Mamas just know how to care for their babies, I think. Mamas care for their babies even before their babies are born. What do you think that means? In what ways do mamas care for their babies before they're born? Okay, read the pictures to help you figure out some of those ways. Right. This mama is doing what? Yoga, stretching, exercise. So taking care of her body. What about this mama? Yeah, I also noticed that mom is walking. I wonder, did you wonder too? I wonder what mama is holding in that box. What do you think? Ooh, we're remaining curious. Yeah, maybe she went and she bought something for the baby. So those are some ways that mamas care for their babies before they're born. Okay, let's keep reading. Some mamas care for their babies inside their own bodies. What do you think it means? When a mama cares for their baby inside of their own body, what do they have to do? Take a moment to think about it. Mamas also do a lot of things to care for their babies once their babies are born. So we know that mamas do things to care for their babies before they're born and after they're born. What are some ways that these mamas are caring for their babies in the world after their babies are born? Read the pictures. That'll help you. All right, so what did you notice? I noticed too. I noticed that some of these mamas and these babies have signs. Now, what do you wonder? I wonder what those signs are for. We should read them. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We need daycare centers. I know what this is. This is a protest. Oh, that's good. Sometimes people hold up signs, just like I might hold up my phone fist at a protest. So, some ways that mamas care for their babies after they're born is to protest for the things that they need. Because we live in a society that doesn't always give mamas the things that they need for their babies and don't be giving the babies the things that they need to be able to survive and thrive. And sometimes, even when people try, it's so hard to get those things. And well, that's why people protest, because they're trying to say, listen, you got to listen to us. We need care. We need things to change. And so some mamas, they care for their babies by protesting. Man, shout out to these mamas. Lil Power, what you think? These mamas is powerful just like you. Yeah, just like them. Period, mamas. I know that's right. Some mamas stay home with their babies all day long. It's hard work. How many of y'all got mamas that stay home with y'all? How many of y'all? You know what's interesting? My mama was never able to stay home with me because she had to go to work all the time. But there are some mamas that stay home, and guess what? That's also hard work. So it don't matter if you in your home or outside of your home. Any type of work you do is hard work. What do you think makes it hard work? What makes staying home with babies hard work? Take a moment to think about it. What did y'all think, wonder, and stay curious about? Yeah, staying home with babies is hard work because what? Because babies need a lot. They need a lot of help and support and care. They gotta be fed. They gotta be clothed, right? They gotta have clothes. They have to be read to, right? They gotta be cared for. Like, you know, sometimes babies, they cry. Who's gonna help make them feel better? So a lot of mamas, they stay home and they hold down, they hold down the house. They take care of everything in the house. That's another way that mamas care for their babies. And that's what makes it hard, especially when you're doing it by yourself. Some mamas do other kinds of work to care for their babies. They use their bodies in different ways. So the one thing that remains true for all of these mamas is that all mamas use their bodies to care for their babies. What makes it different is what? Exactly. They just use their bodies in different ways. Curious. I wonder what some of those ways could be. Did you wonder like that too? Little Flower, you wonder like, we be wondering. We be wondering. Some mamas use their arms to clean other people's houses. Their work helps babies grow. Some mamas use their heads to make big ideas. Their work helps babies thrive. Ooh, Thrive is one of my favorite words because it means that you have everything that you need, but you also have the things that you might want, right? The things that make your life feel joyful, the things that help you stay healthy, the things that allow you to have the opportunities that you need, that you dream about. When you thrive, you are feeling good in your mind, in your heart, in your body, in your spirit. So some mamas, they use their heads to make big ideas. They notice, they wonder, they stay curious, they imagine, and they put all of that into action so that babies can thrive. What are some ways that your mamas help you thrive? Take a moment to think about it and share it with whoever you're with. Some mamas use their hands to till the green land. Their work helps their babies bloom. So, say the word till. Good. So when you till the land, it means that you use tools, right? These mamas are using tools to help the soil stay healthy so that all the crops and things can grow. So the same way that the mamas use their hands to till the green land to help the crops grow, their work helps their babies bloom. What else blooms? Yeah, flowers. What happens when something blooms? It grows, it gets bigger, it gets more beautiful, right? So what do you think this means? How does mama's work tilling the land help their babies bloom? So how does mama's work with the land help their babies grow stronger and bigger and more healthy? Take a moment to think about it. Okay, tell me, what do you think? Well, what makes you think that? Oh, so you're saying that if the mamas are tilling the land and helping the soil be healthy to grow crops, which are like food, the babies eat the food that comes from the land that they work on, and that helps their babies grow and bloom? Y'all be using your brains. You're smart. And some mamas use their eyes to fly planes all around the earth. Their work helps their babies dream big. You got a mama that had big dreams? Man, my mama had big dreams too. But sometimes they're not able to live their big dreams the way that they might want to because they end up having to take care of us, right? Some mamas can do both, but sometimes things don't work out for mamas to be able to live their huge, big dreams and take care of us. So some mamas, the way that they care for us is they do their work so that we have opportunities to live out our dreams. So what are some of the ways that your mamas help you live out your dreams? Some mamas do work that needs special clothing. Some people call these special clothes uniforms. Yeah, you probably heard of uniforms before. They're like special clothes, and like a lot of people who are in like the same place sometimes, like the school I used to teach in, the kids had to wear uniforms. Oh, look, check this person out. What type of uniform do they have on? Like ice cream, right? What type of uniform does this person have on? They have like a hat and a little button-up shirt, right? So sometimes when mamas do work, they gotta wear special uniforms and clothing. Some uniforms are big and baggy. Others are small and tight, like a scuba diver. Scuba divers, those are the people that dive into the ocean and dive into the sea. So uniforms are different, right? Not all mamas have to wear uniforms, but some mamas do. And not all of those uniforms are the same. Some of them are different. That reminds me, like the same way that all mamas use their bodies to care for their babies. So all mamas use their bodies to care for their babies. But something that's different is that they might use their bodies in different ways. Right? Yeah, that's a connection that I made. Some uniforms even have special shoes. Ooh, them shoes is fancy. This shoe's glittery. And they got lots of straps. And they're kind of high, like high heels. Oh, you know what? The author of this book, she had to wear special fancy shoes too. She had them too. When I used to play dress up, I used to put on all types of different shoes. Some mamas dance all night long in special shoes. It's hard work. You know what? Where did we hear that word before? Where did we hear it's hard work before? Y'all remember? Wait, let me go back. Sometimes if you're trying to remember and make a connection in a book, you just go back and you do a book walk and you walk back through the book. You flip the pages and then you find... I found it. I found the page. This page. Some mamas stay home with their babies all day long. It's hard work. Some mamas dance all night long in special shoes. It's hard work. So even though these mamas do different things to care for their babies, what's the thing that stays the same? Exactly. That is all hard work. Just like there are some mamas who wear uniforms that have special shoes, and there are some mamas who wear uniforms that are big and baggy, right? And are small and tight. Some of the mamas that have to wear uniforms that are big and baggy, well, they're incarcerated. Can you say incarcerated? Right. Incarcerated. That means when somebody is in prison or in jail. And there are so many mamas, unfortunately, that are in prison or in jail. And sometimes those mamas are in prison or in jail because they did something to care for their babies. And some of the reasons that mamas might be in jail or in prison or incarcerated, like we said, for caring for their babies is by doing things like protesting. Or sometimes mamas have to protect their babies from being hurt or being harmed. And it doesn't really seem fair that they would be incarcerated for that. But when we talk about mamas in uniforms, let me go back to my page and let me do my book walk. Get back to my page. When we talk about mamas sometimes in uniforms, we're also talking about mamas who are incarcerated. And we can't ever forget about them. Because those mamas that are in prisons and jails, they love their babies too. And a lot of them are there because they were doing what they needed to do to care for their babies. So remember, all mamas use their bodies in different ways to care for their babies. We can't forget about the ones that we don't see anymore. Mamas who dance, just like mamas who clean and think and farm and fly, use their whole bodies to care for their babies. Mamas who dance, just like other mamas, have bodies that love their babies. Mamas have arms for hugging. Well, I'll say this. Not all mamas have arms, and there are different ways to show affection, but some mamas have arms, and those mamas who have arms, sometimes they use them for hugging. And that's a great way to show care and affection. And some mamas have heads for telling bedtime stories. Oh, wait a second. Does your mama have a head? Wait a second. Do these mamas have heads? Your mama got a head? What's inside of your head? What do mamas use in their heads to tell bedtime stories? There's a bunch of things. Take a moment to think about it. What do they use? They use their brains, the thoughts inside of their brains, their memories. What else? Oh, sometimes if they're telling a bedtime story, sometimes mamas use their mouth to say words. But you know what? Not all communication comes from saying things, right? Some communication comes from sign language. This means I love you. Some mamas use their hands to tell stories, right? So they're using their whole bodies and their heads. and hands for making good things to eat. So some mamas use their hands to make good things to eat. What are some of your favorite things that your mama makes for you to eat? Ooh, go ahead and go write them down, or say them, or give someone a clue about what they are. Go ahead. And eyelashes for butterfly kisses. So some mamas use their eyelashes to give butterfly kisses. What's a butterfly kiss? When you take your eyelash and your mama put her eyelash on yours, and it's like butterfly's wings. I don't like those. Do you? I don't like those. You know what? If you don't like something that your mama does, like let's say your mama wants to give you a butterfly kiss, right? Like with the eyelashes, and you don't like that, you know what you could do? Tell me, what can you do? If you don't like something that your mama does, yeah, you could say, hey mama, I don't like that. And you know what? Another way that mamas care for their babies is they listen to the things that their babies don't like. And they try to respect the things that their babies don't like. And you could come up with other choices, right? So maybe you don't like butterfly kisses, but you like hugs. So if that's the case, you could say, hey mama, I don't want a butterfly kiss, but I'll take a hug instead. Or, hey mama, I don't really want a hug, but I'll take a fist bump instead. And you can use that with anybody, not just your mama. Mamas who stay home, and mamas who dance, and mamas who clean and think and farm and fly are often tired at the end of the day. Is your mama often tired at the end of the day? What are some things that makes your mama tired? Yeah, mine too. They gotta do so much work, not only to care for us, but to care for themselves. And sometimes mamas don't even have enough time to care for themselves. That's why I love Mother's Day, because today is all about the mamas. Mamas work hard to care for their babies. What are the special ways that your mama cares for you? Maybe you can take this moment to sit and think about the special ways your mama cares for you, and then think about how you can share those ways with your mama. The end, the end, the end, the end, the end, the end, the I'm just kidding. But we know that it's never the end. Just because we close the book or we finish it, don't mean it's the end of that book. We still think about it, and we can still have experiences with the book. So, instead of it being over, there was a question that you thought about. What are the special ways that your mama cares for you? But guess what? For Mother's Day, and all days, I want you to think about, what are some special ways that you can care for your mama today? You think about that. You think about that, and you come up with those ideas, and you wonder about it, and you write them down, and then what? You go do it. We love our mamas. Ah, look at these. Give a round of applause for that book. Little Power, what you think? You love your mama? We got the same mama, obviously. Yeah, we love our mama. I'm going to do some special things to care for my mama today, too. One of the special things I do to care for my mama is I ask her what she needs, or how I can support her when she's feeling sad. But one of my favorite, most special things to do with my mama is to, like, take her somewhere to, like, get food, or, like, take her somewhere to help her feel better. And sometimes it's just sitting there and listening to her. Yeah. Or sometimes it's just watching her favorite show with her. Until next time, my little friends, all power to the little people, and all power to the little people inside of you, mamas.